Hieronymous and I are up bright and early, but we have nothing really to say to one another as we head to Potsdam's office early the next morning. He holds my hand as he teleports us over, but surprisingly, he keeps a firm grip on my hand as we make our way in front of her desk. "Good morning," Hieronymous says, but Potsdam just shakes her head. "Please tell me what's good about this morning, Hieronymous," Potsdam snaps, and Hieronymous lets out a weary sigh as he looks away. "How are you feeling?" Hieronymous just shakes his head like he doesn't know what to say. "He's just tired," I say for him. "I helped heal him when he got back. I think he's just in shock. I think we all are." "Oh, I wouldn't know if I would go quite that far," Potsdam says, narrowing her eyes at me. It appears that some of us knew that Miss Middleton's obsession with the other world ran deeper than any of us realized. She's looking at me to say something, but I just shake my head. We got into a disagreement about it at the beginning of summer, and we haven't talked much since. If she had told me that she was conversing with someone from the other world earlier, I would have reported it. "Would you?" Potsdam asks, eyebrows raised, and I nod my head in the affirmative. "But you didn't tell anyone when you assisted with the transference of Musette's spirit to the other world, did you?" I hesitate for a moment, then shake my head. "I wanted to, but Ellen was scared that you'd kill her once and for all, and there'd be nothing left of her." "The girl died," she says bluntly. "The girl was a troublemaker in life, and your reckless disregard for the rules just got another girl expelled. I can only hope that she was not foolish enough to attempt to preserve herself in the same manner." "I don't think she did," I say as I shake my head. "The only reason Musette did it was because she was worried about her heart giving out, because she didn't trust how magic was able to save her life when modern medicine failed. I don't think Ellen would want to get herself expelled, although maybe I didn't know her as well as I thought I did." "It's true," Hieronymous says. "Tori alerted me to what had happened in May after classes ended, and I confronted Miss Middleton about it personally. After that incident, I made it clear that Tori was to keep her distance from Miss Middleton at all times, and to the best of my knowledge, she has complied with my request." "I have," I say as I turn back to Potsdam. "The only times I've seen her this summer was when I went to sports club on Sunday. We've hung out a few times, but she never told me that someone was speaking to her, or I would have reported it right away. I didn't even know she had a way to contact the other world, or where she would have gotten it." "That does seem to be one thing that you can safely claim innocence of," Potsdam sniffs. "No, it seems that the orb she acquired was given to her by your other roommate, who will face her own disciplinary action when she arrives." I shake my head. "But that's not fair to Virginia. She didn't know how Ellen was going to use it. To the best of my knowledge, she didn't even know about Musette. I know she and Ellen had somewhat of a falling out last year, and I don't think she knew about any of this." "I think you should be more concerned with your own punishment," Potsdam says as she narrows her eyes at me, and I harden my resolve. "I take responsibility for helping Musette get to the other world," I say firmly, "but I had no part in whatever happened this summer. I told Ellen not to go into the other world. I tried to convince her not to go, but she didn't want to listen to me. And, as such, a teacher could have gotten hurt," Potsdam replies. I hold Hieronymous's hand just a little bit tighter. "I would never want anything to happen to him," I say fiercely. "If there was a choice between protecting him or protecting myself, I would choose him every time." "Tori," Hieronymus says, and if I'm not mistaken, he sounds a little exasperated. "Now is not the time for this. A student was just expelled. We need to take this lesson to the student body as a reminder of what can happen when rules aren't followed." "The students will learn by example," Potsdam says as she turns back to me. "One student was expelled, yes, but we need to make it clear that all students involved will be severely punished. After all, a student could have died." She stares me down like she's expecting me to say that it's not fair, but I just shake my head. I made a mistake, I say quietly. I accept whatever disciplinary action I have to face for my role in Ellen's expulsion. Tori has learned her lesson, Hieronymous says firmly, letting go of my hand so he can step forward. She has acknowledged that she has done something wrong and she has just lost her friend. Surely, working to make amends will be much more beneficial than strict discipline in this case? Potsdam just lets out a dry laugh as she shakes her head. Never would I have ever thought I would see you jumping at the chance to defend a student, Hieronymous. Obviously, you are too close to Tori and thus cannot remain impartial. So, unfortunately, I cannot let your emotions sway my decision. I understand, Hieronymous says quietly, looking down and away. Besides, Potsdam continues, Tori's punishment has already been decided. I raise my eyebrows as I look between her and Hieronymous. What is it? Like Hieronymous said, I do want to make amends, but I'll accept whatever consequences I have to for my role in what happened with Musette. This goes much further than that, Potsdam says dryly. After all, let's stack up your grievances, shall we? There is opening up a portal to the other world, yes, and engaging in an unauthorized duel on school grounds, which resulted in the expulsion of yet another student. You have been sneaking around late at night, gaining access to restricted areas without permission, and your lack of self-control concerning your magic almost led you to attack Minnie Cochran last year. I never attacked her, I insist. I didn't realize I was doing magic at first, but once I saw what was happening, I stopped myself. And that thing with Keo, that was self-defense. He attacked me first. I was just defending myself. And Daniel. Which you shouldn't have done, Potsdam replies. You should have sought aid from a teacher, and we would have handled it from there. Like you handled Musette, I want to ask, but I keep it back behind my teeth. I still maintain that it was self-defense, I insist. And yes, I have snuck out after hours when I wasn't supposed to, but I haven't done that in months, and I won't do that anymore. Won't you? Potsdam asks. And how can we be so sure? Well, I do sleep in Hieronymous's room, I point out. He can maybe put a magical lock on the door or something so I can't get out at night. That would help. Potsdam just shakes her head. You have been directly involved in the expulsion of not one, but 2 students. We might even dare to say 3 if you want to count the whole nasty business with Damien's impersonation of Mr. Howell. That poor boy will never be the same. I have no idea why Damien targeted me, I remind her. He picked me to be his freshman for orientation week, but William warned me that he was bad news, and so I told Damien to stay away from me, and I meant it. I didn't even know he was a demon prince at the time. I just knew he was creepy and wanted him to go away. Once I married Hieronymus, he left me alone, so I have no idea why he came after me last year, or why he chose Tommy to do it. The point still stands, Potsdam insists. You have broken many serious school rules that have resulted in the potential for other students to sustain serious injury. If I let you stay here, what example would I be setting for the other students? I blink at her. I think I know what she's trying to imply by the way all the color has drained from Hieronymus's face, but I need to hear her say the words. What do you mean? What are you trying to say? Tori Brown Grabiner, Potsdam says, drawing herself up to full height. You are hereby expelled from Iris Academy.